Good morning and good evening. So, good morning in Albania and good evening in Australia. Welcome to this match for the Inter-University Law Debate Tournament. My name is Aurélien Lorange and I give the floor to Ms. Urbanova from the Quarks Foundation as well.
Thank you very much. Welcome on behalf of Quarks Foundation, the organizer of the Hague Inter-University Law Debate Tournament. It's our edition in 2024. This is a round 2 debate match between the team of Luarasi University joining us from Albania and University of Melbourne joining us from Australia. The debaters have prepared for a week in advance on the topic that appellations of origin do not negatively impact innovation. They are about preserving cultural heritage. So the teams have prepared pro and against arguments. In short while, we'll find out which team will defend which side. But before we do that, let's give the floor to the students for introductions, perhaps starting with Ms. Gerbi.
Hello, good morning from Albania and also good evening from the University of Australia. So my name is Katie Gerbi and I represent Luarasi University in this debate.
I am
Thank you and welcome. From University of Melbourne, Mr. Sirtas. Oh, apologies, your microphone. Unfortunately not.
It's our turn to talk, or Melbourne?
It's the Melbourne turn, but Mr. Sirtas, if you can please try your microphone again. In the meanwhile, Mr. Calvert.
Oh, good morning, good evening. My name's Oscar Calvert and I'll be representing the University of Melbourne alongside my colleague Alexander Siorfis.
Hopefully this colleague has a microphone.
Yes, from Luarasi University in the meanwhile, Ms. Vicky Q.
My name is Kea Bishiko. I'm from Albania and I represent Luarasi team.
Thank you and welcome, Mr. Sirtas. The floor is yours.
Can you hear me? Oh, you can hear me. Okay, perfect. Yes, my name is Alexander Siorfis, and like Oscar said, I am from the University of Melbourne, and yeah, we're looking forward to this tonight.
Thank you and welcome. The students are also provided support from their coaches. The University of Melbourne team is supported by Professor Jocic, and Luarasi University is supported by Dr. Shkruti. The floor is yours as one of the mentors is on the call with us.
Okay, I start. Hi everybody, my name is Brina Shkurti. I represent Luarasi University, law faculty of Luarasi University as a coach of Luarasi team. I'm very thrilled to listen to this debate, which I may say it's not an easy topic at all. And I wish you best of luck, especially to my girls.
Right, thank you very much. So without further ado, I'll be sharing the screen so we find out which team will defend which position. If you can just give me a confirmation when you can see the screen.
Yes.
Yes, we can see it.
Thank you. So as you can see, there are 4 possibilities for the algorithm to choose from. All right, so for today's debate, it is Luarasi University debate team that will defend the position in favor, therefore arguing that appellations of origin do not negatively impact innovation. They are about preserving cultural heritage, whereas the Melbourne University debate team will argue against the position and saying that appellations of origin do negatively impact innovation. Therefore, we now have 5 minutes for preparation. For your final review of notes, feel free to close your cameras, and after the time is up, we'll start with the position in favor. Thank you, everyone. Your time for final preparation is now over. We'll be starting with the position in favor. Therefore, debating team of Luarasi University, you have 4 minutes for your opening statements. Whenever you're ready.
So the appellation of origin do not negatively impact innovation. They are about perceiving cultural heritage. When it comes to talk about heritage and its definition, we always feel the need to see it on a personal level, like what do we heritage from our parents, grandparents, etc. But heritage is so much more than that. It's in a wider sense encompasses the tangible and the intangible legacies inherited from past generations, perpetuated in the present, and passed for the benefit of future generations. According to UNESCO, cultural heritage encompasses physical artifacts and intangible artigroups of a group or society, ranging from tangible structures like sites, buildings, landscape, to intangible elements such as memories, emotions, values, and of course the tradition. This multi-phased concept plays a critical role in shaping national identities and has appeared as the cornerstone of marketing strategies in recent decades. The significance of cultural heritage transcends individual and nation boundaries, promoting the development of cultural heritage law aimed in its protection. Initially, current cultural heritage law were mainly formulated in a national level to safeguard the state's cultural heritage as an integral part of their own identity. However, the increasing recognition of this cultural heritage has made that this kind of law will become international legal instrument to protect and treasure during all over the world in time, of course, of war and the peace. The imperative to protect cultural heritage appears from the unique and irreplaceable nature of its nation heritage in the face of globalization. So while globalization tends to homogenize many aspects of society, cultural heritage stands as a treasure and diverseness of each nation's identity. Therefore, preserving cultural heritage becomes the key to ensuring that this uniqueness is kept alive across various factors of society, including artistic explanation, economic endorsement, and consumer goods. One significant aspect of cultural heritage protection is the preservation of appellation of origin, as is also underlined in the Lisbon argument. This argument underscores the importance of safeguarding appellation of origin, which designated the geographical origin of products as the unique qualities of characteristic variant from their geographic environment. By protecting appellation of origin, nations seek to preserve not only the tangible aspect of their cultural heritage, but also the intangible essence imputed in products originating from the specific regions. The protection of cultural heritage, including the preservation of appellation of origin, is imperative by maintaining the unique identities of each nation in the face of globalization. By recognizing and safeguarding the diverse manufacture of this cultural heritage, nations strive to ensure that their heritage will continue to enrich society, favor innovation, and serve, of course, as a source of pride for future generations. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll now hear the position in the against. So debating team of Melbourne University, you have 4 minutes.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. So, my name is Alexander Siovis, and I'm here with Oscar Calvert, and we are against the motion that appellations of origin do not negatively impact innovation. They are about preserving cultural heritage. Now, by way of a bit of background, the Lisbon Agreement defines appellation of origin as the geographical denomination of a country, region, or locality which serves to designate a product originating therein, the quality or characteristics which are due exclusively or essentially to the geographical environment, including natural and human factors. Now, because this is a bit of a legal concept, just to illustrate this difference between a geographical indicator and an AOO, an appellation of origin, you might have, on the one hand, feta, and on the other hand, champagne. So feta means slice in Italian, and it comes from a Latin word meaning peace, and it's not geographically bound in that sense, although you might associate it with Greece because they produce a white cheese made using specific ingredients and a particular process which we refer to as feta. That's a geographical indicator. Now, an AOO, an appellation of origin, would be, for example, Champagne, which is a sparkling wine from the Champagne region of France using grapes grown in that region. The Lisbon Agreement provides for the protection of indications of origin such as these more than any other treaty. So its members, the members of this treaty forming the Lisbon Union, are obliged to protect the appellations of origin of products recognized and protected as such in the country of origin when they're registered at the International Bureau of the World Intellectual Property Organization against any usurpation or imitation, even if the true origin is indicated or if the appellation is used in translated form or accompanied by terms such as kind, type, make, imitation, or the like. So essentially, if you say that this is champagne imitation or champagne make, you can't say that because it would go against the Lisbon Agreement. Do these protective provisions negatively impact innovation? Do they harm countries or the economy? We, the negative team, submit that they do. These provisions are a form of nationalism which is inconsistent with 21st century technology and migration patterns. It does not protect cultural heritage. It protects businesses in those areas which would otherwise be uncompetitive. It's misleading also for the consumers because there is legally no genericide of the label. So even if the word used for an entire category of products is that would be protected and does not at any point fall into the commons. So if you want to refer to champagne and you go to a bar and you say, "Can I have some champagne?" When you mean sparkling wine, the word champagne will still be protected. So it's misleading also for consumers. So my partner will also cover how this protection restrains trade and entrenches nationalistic attitudes. So on this, I'll reserve the remainder of my time for rebuttal and elaborating on those arguments. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will now proceed with the first rebuttals. We have heard opening statements from both teams. Luarasi University debate team, you have 2 minutes for your first rebuttal.
Okay, I can start now. As my colleague said first, one of the advantages of appellation of origin is preservation of cultural heritage and celebration of diversity. Appellation of origin help protect traditional methods of production and unique qualities associated with products from specific regions, preserving cultural heritage from future generation. These designations ensure that products are produced by established practices that have been passed through down generation, maintaining the authenticity and historical significance of these products. The best example that we can think is feta cheese, that is one of the most popular food in the world, which is produced and created in Greece. That meaning that as soon as we eat feta cheese, our mind will always go in Greece, linking to the product in its own culture. Appellation of origin highlight the diverse array of products and production methods found around the world. Each religion, its unique natural resources, climate, and cultural influence contributed to the distinctiveness of its products. By recognizing and celebrating the diversity, appellation of origin contributes to the rich cultural heritage. As we stated before, globalization have turned the world into a big nation, meaning that different cultures are harder to be found. This is why we feel the need that each country produce products with appellation of origin that will keep their authenticity alive.
Thank you very much. We'll now hear the position against. For the first rebuttal, University of Melbourne, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you. So in the introduction, I introduced 3 points, which was 1, these provisions are a form of nationalism which is inconsistent with 21st century technology or migration patterns. Now, this was not really an argument that was addressed, and I'll get back to it. Secondly, I mentioned that it does not protect cultural heritage. It protects the businesses in those areas that would not otherwise be competitive. And third, I said that it was misleading for the consumers because the label never enters into the commons. So even if you're referring to feta, if it's protected, that doesn't refer to just cheese that's white cheese in brine. It might mean specifically Greek cheese, and you might not know that. You might want to try Danish feta or any other country's cheese in brine, but you can't because it's a protected one. Similarly for champagne, you might want to refer to something like sparkling wine, but you might want a champagne, but you refer to it and it's a protected term. Now, the point about globalization is a point well taken. However, it's inconsistent with 21st century. So, for instance, if you are a person from Champagne, the Champagne region in France, and you take the Champagne vine and you take it to Australia or you take it to California, and you grow it as you did previously with the vine in, identical climate, you cannot call that champagne. So how is that protecting the heritage? It's not protecting the heritage. It just creates essentially a monopoly on wine in that region, because for you to get the Champagne label, you need to buy vineyards in the Champagne region of France and then churn out your champagne. So I'll reserve the remainder of my time for my partner. But
thank you very much. We'll now hear the second rebuttal in the favor position. Debate team of Luarasi University, you have 2 minutes.
So even though our colleague in Melbourne University stated that with the example that we took for the feta cheese, we believe that even though this is a common food that is organized and is placed in all over the world, we think that another argument pro with this statement will be, of course, the promotion of local identity and eventual stability. Products associated with appellation of origin become emblematic for the region where they came from. They carry with them the history, the tradition, and the identity of the local community. This connection to the place strengthens the bond between producers and their cultural heritage, fostering a sense of pride and, of course, the belonging for their own product. These kind of projects serve as a tangible manifestation for their regional heritage. By promoting their products, each nation or nation grounds their own tradition, meaning that they will ensure this culture for the new generation. Appellation of origin may encourage stability farming and production practice and often deeply rooted in the traditional method and respected by the environment. This helps with promoting biodiversity, implanting territorial, trading farming, and of course engaging the local communities, contributing to a very long-term of stability by natural resources as something that can benefit the future generations or the new generation that will be able to see this kind of product and remain the name of the cultural heritage. Thank you.
Thank you very much. For the second rebuttal in the against position, debate team of the University of Melbourne, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you. While appellations of origin are generally designed to promote local identity, there are some arguments which suggest they might not effectively achieve this goal, or at the very least have unintended consequences. Firstly, the exclusion of diverse local products. Appellations of origin often focus on specific products that have historical connection to a particular region. However, this may lead to the exclusion of other locally produced items, which may also contribute to the cultural identity of the area. So we can see how we focus on one specific product, meeting that threshold of the AOO, and unique, diverse products in the region may fall to the wayside. Secondly, the strict regulations associated with appellations of origin may lead to a kind of homogenization of local products. Producers will feel conformed to a standardized set of characteristics to then export from the region, and we argue that this potentially stifles diversity in local production. So when you're thinking about cultural heritage, you want that to be rich, you want that to be diverse, you don't want to commodify the output. Can I now move to my arguments?
I have paused the timer at 38 seconds. You have always just to certain time for your speaking position. So now you have 38 seconds left of your second rebuttal. The next speaking position is conclusion. So
Okay.
Restarting timer at 38 seconds. Do you not wish to use your time for the rebuttal?
No,
We will say our conclusion now, or are we going with another argument?
I'm sorry, just a confirmation from the Melbourne team that they don't wish to use their remaining 34 seconds of your second rebuttal.
No, we reserve that time for the following speaker.
You cannot reserve the time. When you either use your speaking position or you basically lose
I'd
the
like to
seconds.
make a final point, sorry, for the last bit of the rebuttal.
Okay, restarting is 34 seconds whenever you're ready.
Okay. Thirdly, the market exclusivity and kind of gentrification of products under AOO. So the popularity and prestige associated with the products may lead to exclusion of some local communities. So as demand increases for these products, there's a risk that local residents themselves might be priced out of enjoying the products where they're meant to represent their cultural identity. I rest.
Thank you. So for the first conclusion, as we have now concluded the rebuttals, first conclusion from the position in favor, Luarasi University debate team, you have 2 minutes.
We have to say now the conclusions.
Yes, you have now 2 minutes for your final speaking time.
Okay, thank you. Finally, another pro-argument for the statement of appellation of origin do not negatively impact innovation. They are about preserving culture and heritage, is that these systems encourage innovation within the framework of tradition. Rather than stifling creativity, appellation of origin can inspire producers to find innovative ways to uphold traditional methods while meeting modern demands. For example, producers might explore sustainable farming techniques or experiment with new technologies that enhance traditional production persists while they is still maintaining the unique characteristic of the product associated with its origin. By fostering a balance between tradition and innovation, appellation of origin contributes to the continued vitality and relevance of cultural heritage in a rapidly changing the world. Nations have also created international agreements and legal frameworks to safeguard and promote their cultural legacy, as they realize how important it is to preserve it, because they protect historic manufacturing process, foster economic development, guarantee product quality, and support environmental sustainability. Appellation of origin are essential to this preservation effort. Tradition can protect their cultural history, boost local economies, reassure customers for product quality, and encourage sustainable framing and manufacturing methods by using appellation of origin. In addition to celebrating the distinctiveness of our costume and identities, we also contribute to a long-term sustainability of our planet and the welfare of future generations by preserving and safeguarding our cultural heritage. Thank you.
Thank you. And now to hear the final position of today's match, the conclusion of the position against. Debate team of University of Melbourne, you have 2 minutes.
We thank our colleagues for their arguments. While appellations of origin may intend to protect traditional products, we argue that they have negative impacts on innovation. They typically come with strict regulations regarding the variety of crops used and production techniques employed. This can limit the scope for the farmers themselves to experiment and innovate in agricultural and food processing. It also stifles cross-cultural influences. They're often tied to specific geographical regions with, as mentioned, unique cultural and historical practices. While this does preserve the traditional method itself, it may also discourage the integration of ideas and techniques which can ultimately deliver better products and better outputs for consumers. Secondly, innovation is stifled through creating barriers to entry. Obtaining the recognition for an AOO can be a lengthy and expensive process. New and innovative producers who might employ historical approaches to novel products, they might not fit within the traditional criteria. So the bureaucratic hurdles and costs associated with obtaining that status, that high threshold, that in itself from the outset stifles innovation and entrepreneurs who might want to piggyback off those historical and cultural practices. To conclude, the focus on traditional methods and desire to maintain the status quo can hinder the adoption of new technologies. So in advancing industries such as agriculture and food processing, the reluctance to embrace modern innovations may result in overall worse outcomes for consumers and reduce competitiveness on the global stage. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This now marks the end of the graded part of your match. You can relax. The judges will no longer score you on the part that follows. On the side of organizing team, I would like to say congratulations on the preparation for today's match. It is always a challenge, we understand, to prepare within a short time frame for both sides of the argument. Your match will be scored and evaluated by 3 judges independently. The judges do not know each other. They have 2 business days to review the match and submit the scores. Afterwards, our organizing team reviews the scores submitted, and when we have all of the forms, we announce the results on social media and we provide the forms to each team. So the judges may wish to share specific feedback with teams, some tips perhaps for your careers or progression in the competition. So on that note, before we conclude, I would just like to give you the floor to perhaps do a short reflection on the match, on perhaps were you surprised by the other side's argument, or was it a topic that you're already familiar with from your studies? Perhaps starting with Mr. Calvert from Melbourne University.
Yeah, so I thought it was a really interesting topic. I know Alex and myself haven't looked at that particular topic before, so it was really interesting. Also, just being from Australia where, you know, we don't have that European influence in terms of our products, it was really interesting to delve into. I think the arguments that our colleagues made were really strong. We certainly agree with them. So it was, a really, really overall great experience, and just it's a pleasure to be involved in the competition.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Ms. Bishiku, how did you find the debate?
It is a beautiful challenge for us too. It's the first time that we are part of this competition, and the topic was very challenging, I would say, but interesting. And it was not as hard as we thought it would be, but it was a pleasure being part of this competition. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Shotas, the floor is yours. How did you find the debate?
I'll just echo the previous sentiments. It's been a pleasure to be a part of this, and also, I suppose, to do some research into something new. Appellations of origin are, I suppose, a relatively niche intellectual property area within intellectual property and international law. So it was interesting to research, but and then prepare for the debate. So good fun.
Thank you for sharing. Ms. Kirby, how did you find the debate?
So, as my colleague said it before, this is our first time participating, and at the first, our topic was a little bit of a challenge because we will not had many information about the cultural heritage and the international laws, and I think that this has helped us to see our cultural heritage in a different way. And I will also thank our colleagues in the Melbourne University because with their arguments, they kind of opened our our eyes, in a sense, with arguments that in the negative part. So I think that this was a very interesting debate, and hope for the best with both teams. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. And as always, since we also have one of the mentors present for today's call, Dr. Shkurti, how did you find the debate? Is there anything you would like to share with the students from both teams?
I may say I was very amused by all the arguments that the both debate teams share in this debate match, and I wish both of them best of luck. Thank you very much.
Thank you for sharing. And once again, from the organizing side, I really want to congratulate both teams for the debate. It is the first match for both teams in this edition. The next match will be happening between the University of Melbourne and Prince Sultan University, joining from Saudi Arabia. So that would be in the day 3. I will now pass the floor to our student organizer, Ms. Tonjetic, to host the final part of the session.
Hi guys, well first of all I want to congratulate you on the match. There were really some great arguments and the topic, in my opinion, wasn't easy at all, so well done. Second of all, I would like to now move to the networking part of the event, which is here so that you can maybe get to know each other, get to know your universities, and maybe later even stay in contact. So first question is very interesting, and I also want to know, how can you become a lawyer in Australia or Albania? Maybe we can start with the Luarasi University from Albania, maybe Miss Gerbi.
Yes, of course. So thank you for the question. And here we have, I will say, a different maybe structure from other countries, because here you have to take the Faculty of Law, which is the 5-year program, which is an integrated program. And then you will have to do a 1-year School of Attorney, as we say it. Then you do like a bar exam, for example, but it's an exam that you will take your license to become a lawyer. Then it's up to you if you want to work to another office as a lawyer, or do you want to open your own firm as a lawyer. So it just starts with the 5-year of the Faculty of Law and then the 1-year School of Attorney, and this is how you get the license to become a lawyer.
Then you have to work 3 years after being a lawyer. You have to work three years. Then you can take a school that is for judge and prosecutor. And it's challenging to arrive there, but we have a long road ahead.
Thank you. Now from the Melbourne University, maybe Mr. Calvert can answer.
It's a similar process here. Do your law degree, and it depends, I suppose, whether you want to be a barrister or a solicitor. So here we have, if you want your practicing license, you do your practical legal training for a year, whether that's with an external provider or a firm. I know that becoming a barrister, you sit the bar exam as well. And as I'm sure we're all aware, being in the law, it's a lengthy process, but we're committed to it. So yeah.
Okay, well, thank you. This has been very interesting to hear. And now to the maybe more fun topics. How is student life in Albania and Australia? And like, what do you do except for the debate? Like, are there more extracurricular activities in your universities that you're also part of? Maybe now we can start with Melbourne University. Whoever feels comfortable.
I'm happy for Alex to take this one.
Appreciate it, Oscar. So the question was about like the social aspect of university in Australia. It's good. I would say it's good. There's plenty of, I suppose, because I don't want to get into like the educational in like sector industry in Australia, but it's like a big service export, particularly where we are in Melbourne. So you get people from all over the world coming to Melbourne, and so a lot of like cross-cultural communication, a lot of inclusive initiatives, lots of icebreaker activities, because no one really knows each other until they go to university and they meet a bunch of strangers, and so you have to, or not have to, but I mean there's an incentive there to build chemistry with your peers. But it's pretty good. It's social.
Okay, thank you. Now maybe Miss Bishiku.
Yes, student life here in Albania is a little different, I would say, because we are a small place, but it's, I would say, hard, it's fun, it's, I don't know how to explain it to you, but we also have a lot of extra curricular subjects here in our school. One of these is HOG, that we are taking part now in this competition, but we also have a lot of topics that we debate here in Albania with Albania universities. Then we have a lot of extracurriculars, we would say. Thank you.
Thank you. And for my last questions, which are maybe the stereotypes people usually think about the Australians or Albanians that are true or false? Here, we can again start with a university from Albania. Do you know some of them?
So personally, I don't have like a stereotypical mindset that what Australian students may look like, but I will say from for our Australian friends that we have this false portraitization that the Albanian people also are incriminated, or we have like a bad reputation in the safety for our country. And I will say that this argument will be completely false, because all the tourists, they come here in Albania, the first thing they will say how welcoming we are, how warming we make everyone feel. And of course, for our two colleagues, I will always say to them that if they have any chance to come visit Albania and see in first hand how amazing a small country can be. Thank you.
Thank you. And now University of Melbourne. Do you want to answer
I'm
also?
happy to speak on this one. There's quite a big Albanian community in Melbourne. So yeah, we know them as really welcoming, and Australia is probably a laid back country. Pride ourselves on being a place for everyone. I'm sure you know the usual stereotypical stuff, whether it's surfing or throwing something on the barbecue or things like that. But yeah, I'd say we're a laid back country. Great weather. So if you ever want to visit, I'm happy to give you some beach recommendations.
Okay, to be honest, I just have one question for the University of Melbourne. Is it true that there are a lot of weird animals in Australia that cannot be found in the rest of the world?
Well, it is true. In the sort of outback areas, you don't have sort of a kangaroo going down the streets, but we do have a variety of animals which, if you did interact with them, you may end up injured.
Well, interesting. That were all my questions. If you have more questions for each other, feel free to ask them. And once again, I want to congratulate you on the debate and wish you good luck in your further matches.
Thank you. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Right. Thank you, everyone. And also thank you for joining at such a point in time. In Albania, it is early morning. In Melbourne, it is quite in the evening already. So all the best for the rest of your week. We will share with you the results as soon as we have the complete set. And that is all from our side. All the best.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good luck as well.
Good luck to you.
Good